This is the Tesseract NF1. This is a really cool and robust EDC folder that's luxuriously smooth and really well built. This was sent to me by the company Tesseract. I had not heard of them. I think they're brand new. They're a collective of designers. I'm sorry if collective sounds too communist, but they're a group of designers out of Kansas who are into product design and love knives, and their first knife out is just awesome. I gotta say, they reached out to me and said, do you want to check this knife out? I looked at it on the website and there were a couple of things that really led me to want to see this, and I didn't realize it was going to be such a well, it's a really buttery smooth knife. It's very well built. It's fun to actuate and fidget with and all of that, and I knew that from the start just from feeling it. But 2 weekends ago, at this point, my lawnmower bit the dust. I had had it for 13 years and it was the cheapest thing I could find 13 years ago, so I decided I'd splurge, got a new lawnmower. No, it's not electric, and this is what I cut the box up with. It was a giant double-walled box of like really tough and printed on cardboard, and I broke it down into, I mean, I was pretending to be a whaler basically, and this was the knife I was doing it with, and it was so fun and so comfortable to use and so freaking sharp, and the geometry here was perfect for that task in particular. To be totally honest, I haven't used this for too much else. I had it for several weeks. I showed it on the podcast and made a short of it, I think, and well, I showed it on Thursday Night Knives a couple of times and we talked about it, but I really used it to break down that box and it really impressed me. The handle is nice and full. Let's see, NF1 953, you can see in there. That's pretty cool. Forgot about that. But when you hold it on the side and look at it, you see something you don't see often in folders, which is a nice liner there. Oftentimes folders will sacrifice a touch like liners just to make it thinner, but in this case, I'm glad they have that there. Not only is it a really nice touch visually, but it probably does swell out the handle just ever so slightly, maybe by a 1/16, or combined maybe an 1/8 of an inch. And it's not a particularly thick handle, but it just fills the hand nicely. Now I wear medium-sized gloves. I have a medium-sized hand. Some hands are, lots of hands are much bigger. Some hands are smaller. I think this is gonna fit all the hands I know or have shaken, because look, if I kind of choke up here, it's all fitting on there. All right, I'm getting away from myself, but I just wanted to say that powering through all this cardboard, not only is there zero play, or was there any trouble, the edges, S35, and the edge is still kicking, but this handle and the clip were so comfortable that I could do that kind of sustained work without going inside to get the 6-inch cold steel Luzon folder, which is, lives in the kitchen and does a lot of box breakdown because it's so big and sharp. This did me the whole time, and I'm really digging it. Okay, let's talk about what the knife is. Oh, and by the way, a friend of mine just recently, I was showing this off to him, and he's somewhat new to knives, but has good taste, and he's especially fond of Civivi and Sencut brand knives. Excuse me. When he picked this up, he said, "Ooh, this feels expensive." And I said, "Why does it feel expensive?" And he said it was the solidity. And I said, "Do you mean the weight?" And he says, "No, I mean the solidity." And I agree with him. But anyway, let's talk about the blade and the whole knife. This is an S35 VN blade, nearly fully flat ground, but about a saber grind, I guess. Nice opening hole. I like the milled relief. Sorry, I cut off a part of my thumb there the other day, so if it looks gross, sorry about that. I like some of that relief milling in there. really makes for great middle finger flicking. And sometimes if you don't get your finger in there, you can, in the hole, you can still grab some of that milled portion to open it. And that's the kind of stuff I was noticing before I actually used it. You know, great fidget, great access to the lock bar, even though there is zero access to the lock bar. The way they milled out that portion, it's like not uncomfortable or difficult in any way to close. And what a pleasure it is to close. So sheep's foot blade, very nice sheep's foot blade. I'm going to hold it on and make that straight like that. So you see it has a rising belly up to a centerline tip. So that's really great when you're holding it, and plus the handle curves down slightly from there. So when you're holding it, no matter how you're oriented with your hand, it's kind of like a screwdriver. You always know where that tip is going to be. So I love that. I love centerline points like that, especially in something that's not a dagger or a spear point or a drop point. So I like when knives manage to do that. You might have noticed on the Nova 2, I designed that in a similar way. Here we have jimping that goes very, like, as far as my thumb will extend, which I love. I'm always wondering why people stop it right there when you could like fully commit. And you know, how much more expensive is that jimping? I know that a lot of jimping files, which certainly this was not made with a jimping file, but jimping files are usually 1 inch wide and they have like 16, I think, jimps. So this is like twice. They did it twice, except we all know it was not done with that. But still, it's not so much more to put jimping that goes further up the blade, and I like that. Also, if you're someone who does this, I do not find myself doing this. I do a lot of projects with my girls for school. Like my wife does all the academic stuff. I do all the project stuff. It works out great in terms of helping them with stuff. And we do a lot of cutting out of paper and cardboard. They're always doing projects and stuff. And this kind of blade is perfect for that. I am not one of these guys. I don't put my finger there. I'm always kind of like this. I had noticed my youngest daughter always puts her finger there. Anyway, all I'm saying is if you're that person, you have a lot of jimping to engage the finger, and this is a sharp enough knife, and if you're doing maneuvers, you want to make sure that your finger is not slipping. And you know, we all know that jimping also just gives, it's like an emotional support feature. So you know, so here we can see some of the blasting. This blade was, I believe, some medium blasted in some way, sandblasted or something. You can see some of the wear. Now, I have not taken isopropyl to this. I haven't done anything actually to clean this, but you can see some of that ink from the box, and you can see some of the tracks. I was going in to take care of this behemoth. This is now, I was gonna give this to my friend who said it was like, felt like an expensive knife, but after the bonding experience I had, I don't think I'm gonna be doing that. Peel Ply G10, very nice pivot, beautiful. I mean, just simply stated, very nice. By the way, that flipper is excellent. It's small on the closed side, relatively speaking. It works great, push button or light switch, and also gives you a little bit of finger guard. And that's, you know, that's what I love flippers for most. And originally when flippers came out and there were no bearings and it wasn't about not using any wrist and all that, they were really primarily finger guards and blade assists, you know, to get it started so your wrist could whip it out. Now, you know, knife guys clutch their pearls at the thought of having to use your wrist, and certainly you don't have to on this one. It's got that perfect kind of drop that I like, not totally drop shut, where you just give it a gentle nudge and okay boss, it drops right in. Pocket clip I really like. I like this, and I'll use the term solution, overused term of course, but I like this solution where it can go either side, but you don't have some unsightly holes all over it. You have one screw you got to remove here, one screw you got to remove here, and boom, it fits perfectly on the other side. There's the Tesseract logo. Tesseract is like what, a 4D cube or something. I know here it's like X's. I looked it up, and let's just say math is not my strong suit, but I'm glad there are people for whom it is, because that's what makes the world go round, for sure. S35 Vienna, if I didn't mention it. I want to look here. Let's see, you can pause and check this out. Bead blasted, CNC contour G10. What was I looking for? Oh yeah, okay, tie back spacer and liner lock. Okay, so this is titanium, and you can tell from the weight because there's no weight relief carved out in here, and if this were steel, it'd be much heavier. Really, really great, and it's just a hammer grip powering through material, but also great for nuanced kind of utility work. And not for nothing, of course, I love knives as weapons, and if you put it in reverse grip, tip down, edge in, yeah, it goes way into cardboard, even though this is not a tip optimized for that. With the tip down and the edge in and the thumb here, boom, you're going into whatever you want to. So this is a great knife for someone who's got real, actual utility use in their daily job, but then also is interested in a little bit of self-defensiness if need be. Oh, no doubt in this grip too. This would make a mean deterrence, but that's not what this knife is about. This is certainly a great EDC knife, and I'm very happy that Tesseract sent it to me. Thank you very much. And yeah, I'll be using this to break down cardboard and other stuff for a lot of time to come. I want to see how this does on ribs in the summertime. I have a feeling this might be a good little rib knife. All right, everybody, Tesseract NF1. Thanks for watching.